Do you want to build your own computer? Be original, use parts you've got lying around the house, and do it on the cheap? Well, stick with us after the jump, and we'll build a single board computer using a Raspberry Pi. Okay, so let's get into it. A couple things first. Creativity is really the key to anything that you design. It's really the key to anything that you learn. You want to express yourself. You want to figure out how things are. You need something done. And so this device is exactly that for me. I want to learn Linux. And I've had this Raspberry Pi. It's a Model 3B Plus. I've had it for 2 years. It's just been sitting around gathering dust, and it's really bothered me because every time I pick it up to go to use it, it's just a little too much, and I didn't want to get into it, but I really want to learn Linux. I really do. But I need a cushion. So I got out there and I checked out the OS flavors available for it, and I found a good one called Ubuntu Mate. It's Ubuntu with a little compatibility extras added in. So that's nice. I can plug in my travel drive to my laptop, copy files, move them over to the Raspberry Pi, no issues out of the box. So that's great. That's a real help, especially for the project that I want to build later on using this. So the other thing is, I didn't want a huge investment. I don't want to build $1,000 computer just to tinker around and learn, how to do things. I don't want to dual boot my laptop. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I have a workflow that works, and I want to keep it that way. So having a separate device for tinkering around and doing what I want to do, that's important. That's key for me. I think key for you. The other thing is that the time I invest in building this is going to translate into time that I'm going to use the device, because you've been there before. If you buy something, it doesn't have the same gestalt as if you make something yourself. If you make something yourself, you're going to use it more. It's going to be more tailored to you, and it's going to be more interesting. So that's why we're building the Raspberry Pi Top today. So yeah, let's just get into it. So let's get this thing together. The Raspberry Pi is already an enclosure from Triple PC on Amazon. I've gone ahead and put some 3M Velcro on there just to keep it on the case. I've gone ahead and put in risers that I 3D printed custom for the screen because the original one that I did, well, let's just say it damaged the screen, and I've got a line that goes across there now of dead pixels, which is pretty annoying, but hard to see on camera. So just trust me, it's there. Be careful with your screen. So I've got a Logitech K400 Plus, and I've got the little dongle that goes with it, and that just fits right in there. It's recognized straight away by Ubuntu Mate, so you're not going to have a problem. Down here, I have a power supply from Atomi. I just had this laying around. It's a 4-port USB hub with intelligent charging, so I don't have any problems. I need to use this because I can't, it needs power, and this plugs into the wall quite nicely. I can use a battery bank, but I don't have one put in here right now. Couple other things to remember. The Raspberry Pi does have a headphone jack, but it uses it for a couple different things. So if you're making a more complex project than this, and you need sound that comes from here, you may have issues. So you're gonna have to work that out with Bluetooth or something else. It's a full-size HDMI port, does carry video and sound, but my screen does not carry sound. So there we are, we're gonna have to use that port. One last thing. I could power the screen off of one of these USB ports, but there's not enough voltage to actually do so effectively and get the signal from the computer to the screen. So I have to run that separately. So I've got one power for the USB for the Raspberry Pi and one for the screen. So if you get a message that says, no signal when you hook everything up, this is likely what's causing your problem. So I go ahead and I put the Velcro in place. Really, it's not that complex. Go ahead and plug in the power. My enclosure is a little close, so get in there. Alrighty. All right, now go ahead and put on the screen. I'd have these custom brackets. I made them because the topology of this case is just such that I had to actually pull everything about 11 millimeters off. And again, the last time I did this, I screwed up big time, and I ended up damaging the screen. So I had to get real precise real fast. So, you're not going to have this problem if you use a standard monitor. But if you're doing something custom, keep your tolerances in mind. And definitely don't compress your screen this way or this way, that way, because you could damage it, and that would be a very bad time. So all I've got to do now is plug in the power for the screen. There we are. And attach the USB cable, which is right. I'm going to the other side. Third act problems. I love them. Might help if the cable was going the right way. Alrighty, there we go. And here we go. I'm passing this behind that cable. Well, let's keep it all nice and neat. All right, so now it's all plugged in and it's good to go. So all we have to do now is plug it in for power, and we're golden. Oh. There you go. Boop. And now we have a fully functioning Raspberry Pi Linux machine, and it is beautiful. I can keep the screen. I can keep the keyboard here if I like. Probably keep it in here for now because I need the clearance for the closure. But as you can see, oh, one last thing. Travel drives. I use a Seagate, and these are, again, I'm in Windows, so I needed a cushion between Windows and Linux. Ubuntu makes this really easy because in order to use this drive with all the files that I have on it, all I got to do, plug it right in. It reads it automatically and makes my life so much easier. So as you can see, we're running. Now I haven't done much, again, in Ubuntu Mate because I wanted you to see it from the beginning. You're going to have to deal with it yourself, but this is how you do it, and it's done. So let's finish up here. So that's it. That's how easy it is. Most of it is commentary, and most of it is, did I plug this in right? But basically, single board computing has gotten to the point it's plug and play. Now, your results may vary. If you have a different keyboard type, it might not necessarily be recognized if it's wireless. If it's wired, you should be fine. Again, same thing with mice. So just bear that in mind. But the unit works, and it's portable. Closed up. I'm good to go. It's neat, it's stylish. It's actually fairly quiet too, and it works. And at a gig of RAM, it's not the fastest thing on the planet, but like I said, the Raspberry Pi 4s are out, and they go from, I believe, 2 to 4 to 8 gig of RAM, but you're going to pay a little bit more for it. And again, I don't think they're tweaked yet, So give it a month or two before you go and get a Raspberry Pi 4 if you're interested in doing that. But this is a very good basis for other projects. I'm just going to leave it there. If you have questions, throw them in the comments down below. Share, subscribe, hit the bell, tell your friends. Sometimes when you're shooting these things, small details pop through. This time a big one did. You're going to need a microSD card for this project to plug into the Raspberry Pi. The microSD holds the operating system and all your files, so you're going to need it. I recommend a Class 10 UHS 1 or higher SD card so that you get the optimal performance from your system. Lower memory cards, lower class settings, you'll actually see slowness compared to the higher, so go with the higher. I'm just using a 32 gig. It's fine. You will then need Windows Disk Imager. If you're using a Windows system, I don't know what you'd use on a Mac. And all you do is you download the image from Ubuntu Mate. You'll see the links in the description for all this. And then you use Windows 32 Disk Imager to image the Ubuntu Mate to your SD card. And then once that's done, take out your SD card, put it into your Raspberry Pi, and you are good to go. Sorry I forgot to mention this in the main video. I'll be better for next time. And from all of me to all of you, have a great day.